Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. Hope the week has gone well. It's getting terribly hot here in Nairobi. The Algerian revolution has now entered its most dangerous phase, says Bloomberg. 2 weeks after street protests persuaded President Abdelaziz Bouteflika to give up his bid for a fifth term in office, and you remember what he said. It was quite an extraordinary statement. The demonstrations have continued to swell, as have their ambitions. The protesters now call for a root and branch transformation of their system of government. Where the Arab Spring protesters had from the first chanted the people want to bring down the regime, the Algerians had a narrower demand: no fifth mandate for you, Bouteflika. But in the demonstrations since Bouteflika's announcement, more and more people have taken up Tahrir Square's rallying cry of Al-Shab Yurit Iskat al-Nizami. It sounds like the Arab Spring, smells like the Arab Spring, then it also suffers from the Arab Spring's fatal flaw, the absence of leadership. The evolution of demands is characteristic of a leaderless revolution. If there's nobody to tell you what's possible, you can believe that anything is possible. Then talking about prolonged protests, absence of negotiations could wear down patience. Another path leads to the hijacking of the revolution by groups that have what the protesters lack: leadership and organization. Tunisia and Egypt are good examples. Plenty of signs that the old guard intends to cling on. There are people in the regime who don't want change to happen. I think we've reached a point where there has to be meaningful change. The government's transition plan is too little, too late. I take you back to Kapuscinski. The choice of that moment is the greatest riddle of history. If the crowd disperses, goes home, does not reassemble, we say the revolution is over, the crowd continues to grow. Bearer have revealed the vast scale of flooding. European Space Agency imagery showed a huge new inland lake measuring 125 kilometers by 25 kilometers. This is just unimaginable. Cyclone Idai. A businessman stranded in the flooded area after visiting his son in Bearer described apocalyptic scenes of death and devastation. Any roof that was left, and old eucalyptus plantations, and any cashew tree, any tree had 4, 5, 6, 7 people in it. People were trying to wade across. The more primitive type houses were totally obliterated. I think 95% of the houses were obliterated. He saw a woman standing alone, stranded in a tree, giving birth alone, and said that her baby fell into the water. Police fired tear gas and live ammunition to disperse people trying to get into a rice processing warehouse in the Vaz neighborhood, home to many of the city's food stores, on Wednesday. I wasn't aware of this. Over the border in Zimbabwe, humanitarian workers for the International Rescue Committee estimated that 500 people in one village may have been killed by the cyclone, though the official death toll stands at 98. This is a tweet from Shona Tiger in Zimbabwe, which kind of sums up the desperation. I take you back to November 2015 when I said we have created massive interference in the cosmic tuning phenomenon. This is another tweet from Shona Tiger about the floods, and that took me back to No Man is an Island for Whom the Bell Tolls by John Donne. No man is an island entire of itself. Each is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. If a clod be washed away by the sea, Europe is the less. As well as if a promontory were, as well as if a manor of thine own or of thine friends were. Each man's death diminishes me, for I am involved in mankind. Therefore send not to know for whom the bell tolls, it tolls for thee. Cash restrictions come to Sudan as President battles sabotage, declared a limit to the amount of hard currency individuals can hold, saying it was necessary to prevent unofficial trading and economic sabotage in the North African country rocked by 3 months of protests. A report from the Collaboration on International ICT Policy for East and Southern Africa notes that the less democratic a country is, the higher the chances of state-initiated internet shutdowns. Quite an extraordinary correlation. His Excellency President of Namibia and his guest President Kenyatta sharing a light moment at yesterday's Independence Stadium on the occasion of the 29th Independence anniversary. The President Kenyatta's Twitter handle has gone down because of some hacking that has happened. Severe planned power cuts termed load shedding at South Africa's Eskom are expected to shave 0.3 percentage points off first quarter GDP and subtract up to 0.9 percentage points from annual growth. South African all shares up 6.46% this year. Dollar versus rand, you know I'm bearish. Of course, you get these little bounces, but it's for selling, and it looks as if it's on the precipice, frankly. Egyptian pound, 17.258. Nigerian all share down 1.73% this year. Ghana Stock Exchange down 4.06% this year. 25th of February, I was writing about Zimbabwe, and I said Zimbabwe finally overhauled its dysfunctional whack and even voodoo FX regime. I said this is the right move, but I would definitely be short at 2.5. They've now been moving the price from 2.5. I think it was last at about 2.80. Interbank rate was at 2.90 on Thursday, 2.85 on Wednesday. And really, it's a mug's game. They should let something cathartic happen, let it blow out to 10, then come and spend some money to bring it back into line, as opposed to this where you're trying to drip and keep a false market. Kenya, the Nairobi Securities Exchange, reported full year earnings per share declined 12%, full year revenue was up 3%, total income was up 3.9%, admin expenses up 12.997%, profit for the year down 11.825%, ordinary dividend 29 cents per share, and they've topped that up with a special dividend of 20 cents, so that's 49 cents. That's up 63.333%. Look, have a look at Mir's article, Chugging Along, Nothing But Strong. The NSE has done a good analysis of this. I think it's a buy on reverses at a price earnings ratio of 18.7. It looks a bit expensive, but I think at some point you're going to see some corporate action on this. Mergers of other exchanges to consolidate them or something along those lines, and therefore there is value if you have the patience. Kenya shilling 100.8, Nairobi all share up 14.63% this year, best start since 2013, trades on a price earnings ratio of 13.28. NSE 20 up 0.77%. This is an update from Barclays Bank of Kenya that they're not going to accept any more safety deposit box applications. And with that, I wish you a tremendous weekend and thank you.